You're watching India Today Global. Since morning, we have been bringing you all the top developments from Tianjin, China, where we have reporters on the ground, but we also have experts and senior journalists who are reporting out of Tianjin on the big Modi-Xi meeting. What transpired and how are we looking at the relationship at this point in time? To speak about this, I'm being joined by Manish Chand. He's editor, India Rights Network, also CEO, Center for Global India Insights. Manish, thank you so much for joining us here on the network. Beginning with the meeting, let's talk about the body language. Firm handshake, no hugs like in the past. Very, very stern face when it comes to Xi Jinping. What's your reading?
You see, I think my reading is that I think the messaging was very positive. The body language, I mean, Xi Jinping is not a very expressive person, but if you look at the statements made by both sides, both the leaders, especially our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, and, the very positive message about that we need to, we are committed to advancing this process of rebuilding relations, and the fact that the peace is prevailing on the border, and we need to build on it and take this whole process forward. And from the Chinese side also, the similar message was there. So I think what we are seeing now in Tianjin is an expression of a strong mutual political will to turn around this important relationship, knowing fully well that there will be issues that will not be resolved in one meeting, and there are very complex issues, but communication process has started, and this is only the second meeting. So if you look at it from Kazan, where the thaw started, and where we are now, and some of the important steps that have been taken in the last few months, like resumption of Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, and now I guess after this, once we come to know the outcome, the direct flights between major cities will be announced. There are important decisions that will be possibly become clear when both sides do their readouts. But my sense is that there is going to be progress on several areas, and
Right.
one of the important area would be building stronger people-to-people contacts, and in this regard, a mechanism that will launch after the informal Wuhan summit in 2018, called Mechanism for People-to-People and Cultural Contacts, which has been lying in limbo for so many years, will be revived. They will announce the next. I think the meeting will be held next year. So these are positive points. It's easy to get cynical about India-China relationship.
Absolutely, but also, Manish, one has to tread carefully, because every time we've seen a leadership meeting, whether it's Mahabalipuram, Mohan, or even before that Gujarat, there have always been incidents at the border. Having said that, we're not looking at a longer solution of the boundary question, but certainly disengagement when it comes to the recent crisis that really unraveled this relationship.
Right. I mean, reset, I think we have to be realistic, pragmatic in our expectations. As far as, the de-escalation is concerned, the ground for it has been laid down, even during Chinese Foreign Minister and SR Wang's visit to India, when the two sides agreed to set up border-related mechanisms to ensure that, Galwan-like incident do not occur, and also to expedite the process. But it is going to be a slow process. It's going to be an incremental process. And so it is not going to happen that, okay, it is starting. I think Indian side is pushing for some sort of phase withdrawal, of phase de-induction. So right now, around 50 to 70,000 troops from both sides are at the border. If we can bring it down by even half in the next 2 months, that would be considered major progress. But as with these things, because the process of thawing had just started, so it will be unrealistic to expect any major breakthrough. I think if the peace and tranquility, and I think this was a central message that came out from Prime Minister Modi's initial remarks, which was this, that maintenance of peace and tranquility on the border will be central to any effort to normalize relations between India and China. If the border is disturbed, then the whole relationship starts unraveling. And I believe the Chinese are getting that message, and that is why we are seeing this meeting and all the positive steps. So it will all flow from there in a way. So you can have people to people, you can have direct flights, but if the border continues to be tense and volatile, then it will all come unstuck.
Okay,
Yeah.
Manish, we will talk about that, but there is a major factor, that's the Trump factor, and how does that play
Yeah.
out? Before that, there's a very
Yeah.
stern, firm message that was sent by Prime Minister Modi while we're looking at incremental steps, Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, direct flights, opening up of trade, allowing certain products which were banned from sending to India, China opening that up, including fertilizers. All that is okay, but the message is samman, vishwas, samvedanshilta, which is mutual trust, mutual respect, and sensitivity. Things that the Chinese side will have to walk the talk on.
Yeah, that's right. So these are the three mutuals we have articulated earlier also. Mutual respect, and of this is more important is the most important is mutual
Sensitivity.
to each other's core concerns. Now that phrase itself is very loaded and it implies a lot of things. What are the sensitive things which both sides need to be respectful of? And from our point of view, the important thing is to maintain the status quo on the border. And that is the most important, that is the bottom line. For
And
doing
Pakistan, and
and
Pakistan,
Pakistan, yeah.
and
So there are, yeah,
POK.
yeah. So
It's
Pakistan,
like you said, Manish, it's a very
yeah,
loaded word. A lot of
yeah.
people are just attaching sensitivity to border, but we have Pakistan, we have POK, we have the CPEC running through POK. There's so many areas where terrorism,
Right.
United Nations, so many
Yeah.
areas where the Chinese do not stand
Right,
with
right.
India at all.
Right. So, these are the structural issues. I mean, especially, China's support to Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. It will not be easy for Indian people to forget that, and that will remain. But having said that, you have to also see that the new realism. Both sides have issues about third-party relationships. Like China has major issue with India's growing. Of course, now that is coming unstuck. India-U.S. partnership, but for many years, China suspected that India is building closer and closer strategic ties with the United States, with the overarching design to contain China. That India is playing the Quad to contain China. So China has been using Pakistan to contain India. So from their point of view, it looks like, okay, you do this, we do this. But so these are the structural constraints that will remain. You have to figure out some framework for a modus vivendi, which allows for peaceful coexistence without any major disturbance in the border or in any other area. So all the red lines, all the issues, sensitive issues you listed out, they're all very important to take relationship to the next label.
Right.
Whether it's
Manish,
CPEC and yeah.
finally, the America factor. Now, we're looking at China-India talks, RIC being an important bloc, but SCO cannot move forward because of the bilateral bickerings between India and Pakistan. We've seen that at a time and amid the tariff war. How important is it that these countries show some strength, unity, and consensus?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this SEO summit is very important because it's happening at a time of unprecedented global disruption. And it's happening at a time when unilateralism has been stretched to a point where there is massive discontent all across. And India has been now the victim of the tariff war. China was already. And it is not just about Iran, another important SEO country, has been the subject of Western sanctions. And so this SCO meeting is, if you look at in the current global context, there are 10 member countries, there are partner countries, altogether 20 leaders. And these are countries from the global south. So there is an attempt to shape an alternative discourse on world order, on world affairs. And I'm sure the West is watching very carefully, and the US especially. So there are alternative ways of doing it. It cannot be a West-dominated world order for long, and that is the message coming out. I mean, whatever you may think of it, But now you look at it, Russia, China, India, and now they'll talk of the revival of RIC, Russia, India, China trilateral. Now you look at the composition of SCO. This is a very diverse set of countries. It's almost like becoming now like BRICS. It's becoming SCO 20 of sorts. So I think the importance of the organization, which accounts for 30% of world GDP and 40% of world's population, is going to grow, and especially as a signaling to the West that countries have other options. Now, for India, we do not want it to become a brazenly anti-West platform, just as with BRICS, because we believe in building bridges between the North and the South.
That's right. Also very important.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, this whole idea that if you build an SCO into an anti-West platform, so what it is a non-West. It's a non-West way of doing business. It's a non-West way of saying that, look, our point of view is as valid as yours. So why are you imposing your diktats on us? So today you see, especially with Donald Trump, where he's alienated countries around the world. It is like issuing diktats. Either you are with me. It's a different version of that. Either you follow me, either you do what we ask you to do, or we will make life difficult for you. India has refused to cow down to that kind of pressure. India has made it clear that it prizes its strategic autonomy above everything else. And, like whether it's with Russia, Russian oil, or whether, we will continue to attend SCO meetings, we'll continue to do BRICS. If you recall how Trump tried to terrorize BRICS into submission and all that. So basically, the big message is that, a large part of the world does not buy into this hegemonic agenda. That there are other ways of doing things, and we need a more inclusive world order. Inclusive is a watchword, and that diversity. When you're talking about in the context of India-China, mutual respect. I mean, there has to be mutual respect for sensitivities of these countries as well. The West cannot be just browbeating them, or terrorizing them, threatening them, intimidating them.
Right.
You have to see, yeah.
We'll have to wait and see how this pans out, whether it's America or for that matter China, how India really shapes its foreign policy. There are major changes, major tectonic shifts that we are seeing, but how New Delhi handles it is the big question. Manish Chand, thank you so much for joining us. The Foreign Secretary will be briefing later this evening, and we will be keeping a close watch on that and hope to see you join us, Manish, later in the day as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Geeta, for having me.